This is Banter!
You tweeted that if the price of Bitcoin doesn't go to $1 million by 2020,
I will eat my member, yes.
you will eat your own
Eat my dick. Now, I may choose the mode if I choose to get a Bangkok prostitute and ask her, would you please eat my dick over the next 5 years? That's fine.
That's different than eating your own
Is it now?
Because if a Bangkok prostitute ate your you wouldn't be eating your own
Do I not have the privilege of subordinating my task to a subordinate?
To someone who doesn't know a lot about Bitcoin,
Yes.
it sounds like you, John McAfee, want to eat your own
Eating my dick is not something that is difficult. For me eating it, I have no interest in doing that.
So it isn't that you, John McAfee, want to eat your own dick. It's that you believe in the power of Bitcoin, so much so that you'll put your dick on the table, chop it up, put it in your mouth, swallow. If Bitcoin does not...
If it doesn't reach at least $1 million by the end of 2020.
What if, God forbid, you get prostate cancer, have to remove your dick anyway?
Well, I won't be able to eat it, will I?
Well, you can have the surgeon put it aside and then you can eat it, but either way...
I don't think people would expect me to eat a 2-year-old dead dick. I'm sorry.
If John McAfee is to eat a dick,
Yes.
it's going to be the freshest dick.
And
right
eat it
away.
raw like I eat sushi.
Farm to table, to mouth.
Farm to table, to mouth.
Rest in peace, John McAfee. And I mean, he was a crazy motherfucker, but he had conviction. He had conviction in Bitcoin like nobody ever had conviction in the space. And I must say, I went partying with him a few times when I met him, and I met him many times. And I must say, I partied with him once or twice, and I must say, I thought I was going to die some of those nights. So rest in peace, John McAfee. Today, we're going to be looking at whether John McAfee actually took his own life or whether there was a much bigger story behind it. And then we have a huge show for you guys today. And it's a super bullish show today. I mean, we're going to be looking at a lot of things today. We're going to be looking at a case for a very positive recovery. And this is what I got from my friend Burb. Burb says that, I mean, I spoke to him this morning, it's in Burb. Is there any case for a bullish recovery? He says there's only a case for a bullish recovery. So he's going to be coming on towards the end of the show and talking to us about a bullish recovery. He's also going to be talking to us about Wyckoff and how we may be in the spring part of the Wyckoff, which is like the reload part of this Wyckoff pattern that he actually called. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but Burb was the first guy to call the Wyckoff pattern, and he called it right here on Crypto Banter. And he said, this could be a classic Wyckoff. At the time, nobody knew what Wyckoff was. Nobody even spoke about Wyckoff. And then, bang, it plays out. Everyone starts speaking about Wyckoff. Now, what the man says is, he says, we may be in the spring section, which is when we reload and we're going to fly. So bullish. Another thing that is bullish, like really bullish, is Andreessen raising a, get this, $2.2 billion fund. It's the biggest crypto fund ever raised, and it's the biggest fund that Andreessen have ever raised. And we're going to be talking about that. Amongst the things that they say here is they say that they have never been so bullish about anything as they have been about crypto, as they are about crypto. And then we're going to be talking about more bullish news. And I'll tell you why it's such bullish news, because remember I said to you that in the past it was computer nerds and then a few companies that were fighting for Bitcoin. Well, now it's becoming senators, states, countries, all fighting to bring Bitcoin into their jurisdictions. And the latest one is, you won't believe who the latest country or state or city that is actually going to start pushing for Bitcoin adoption. When I tell you later, you are going to go, that cannot be true. That absolutely cannot be true. And then there are rumors that the Winklevoss brothers, our friends, the Winklevoss brothers, just bought, it's not rumors, they just bought $4 million in carbon credits to offset their carbon emissions. Question is, did they buy these carbon credits from Tesla? Because remember, that is the Tesla business model. That's what we're going to be looking at today. And then other big news. the first KUSAMA parachain has been decided or has been won. And it has been won by no other than Karura. Now, we told you that Karura was going to win this. But the most impressive thing here is how the whole mechanism worked and what it means for you guys if you're buying KUSAMA, or why you should be buying KUSAMA, because we're going to be talking about why you should be buying KUSAMA. And I keep saying to you guys, KUSAMA is a no-brainer. And we're going to be talking about that today. Also, another bit of absolutely bullish news, and that is that EIP 1559, which is the Ethereum upgrade protocol, is live. It's live on the Ethereum testnet. So it's not live on the mainnet. It's going to go live on the mainnet sometime in July, but it is live and it is working on the Ropstein test network, which is the official Ethereum test network. And then later on in the show, we are going to be talking about the biggest story of the day. And that is, for the first time in a long time, we are going to be talking about Cardano. But we're not talking about smart contracts, because everybody talks about Cardano smart contracts. We're not talking about smart contracts. We're talking about what happens after smart contracts. And I've got a surprise guest for you guys. I'm not going to tell you right now who it is, but I've got a surprise guest for you guys. And let me tell you that I had a chat to him and I said to him, look, I've got to bring you on the show. I have to bring you on the show because what you're telling me is beyond what people actually know about Cardano. So if you are Cardano fans, be here. Listen to what I have to say to you guys later. Anyway, welcome back. I'm Crypto Man Run. I come to you every single day, 10 a.m. EST. But I'm not coming to you next week because next week I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to use this bear market as an excuse to go and get away and to relax and to wind down a little bit because not much is happening in the bear market. And that's like, I guess that's what people don't understand. A lot of people come into crypto and they think that prices just go up and go up quickly. And every day is about 10x's and 100x's and 1000x's. And what they don't realize is that things that go up also come down. And when they come down pretty quickly. And the best investors in the world are the ones that buy with conviction and hodl. And the reason why I know that is because if you look at all the biggest funds in the world, Andreessen, as an example, their funds are 5 and 7 year funds, even when the funds are in crypto. And that means that they're smart investors. If they wanted to get into things that pumped 100%, they are the people who could get into them. Why do they hold things for 5, 6, and 7 years? Because ultimately, we are in the game of investing. We're in the game of investing in crypto. If you want to trade and make 100x's and scalped and stuff like that, that's great. But that's not how we make money. The most money that we make is actually taking long-term positions that we like, investing in them, and holding them with conviction. And in fact, even taking it one step up. If you like something, invest in it, and then help grow the ecosystem around it. If you like Cardano, invest in Cardano, stake your Cardano, fund projects building on the Cardano network, like Charlie 3, like Giro Wallet, like Alpha Impact, like all these other projects building on the networks. You cannot expect to come into crypto and just think that, hey, prices are going to go up forever and go up 100x forever. That never happens in any market in the world. And of course, we said there are some salty people out there because they think that things can only go up. And I think Sheldon gave an excellent explanation on his show today. He said, guys, we're here to teach you. We're here to tell you what we're doing and why we are doing it. And the rest is up to you guys. This is not a place where we tell you, bye, here's a spoon. So, no, we tell you what we're doing. We tell you why we're doing it. And then you got to make your own calls. And to that end, I pulled up the Banter calls page because that's where we recorded all our calls. And the truth is that if you had bought and if you had listened to us when we started telling you to buy these things, guys, this website hasn't been touched. These are the numbers right here in front of you. And the truth is, we're still holding all these tokens and even buying more. Polkadot, we told you at $5. Arweave, we told you at $2.28. Polkastarter, we told you at 31 cents. Terra, we told you at 29 cents. Bird, we told you at $5.93. And the list goes on. So if you had been watching the show and you listened to us, your portfolio would still be up a lot. Some tokens would be down. Yes, some tokens would be down. That is natural. We've just gone through the worst correction in history. But all of these tokens, we have conviction in. And so we're holding them in our portfolio. And we encourage you guys to do the same. If you sell, great. Then you're not in the game. It means you don't have conviction, and it means that you're going to sell at a loss, and then effectively you are not in the game. And if you're not in the game, then you can't win. You cannot judge your portfolio today and say, oh my God, I failed, I'm such a bad investor. Or, oh my God, I shouldn't have listened to this person or that person or crypto banter. Because the truth is, we're at the bottom of a long correction. It's not a time to be looking at your portfolio. This is the time to be going to Mexico and to chilling and to coming back in a week and hoping that the markets are going to be a lot better. Yeah, so to all the salty people, I'm sorry you got salt. Let's focus on the good stuff. Let's look at the fan mail. So fan mail every day. Love the fan mail, guys. It really, really does keep us going. So we love it. We love it. We love it. It says, Run, my man, I hope you are staying, you are well and staying rested up. We need you in Sniper and Sniper in top condition. I appreciate you all so much. Couldn't and wouldn't want to go through this without you, my brother. I'll keep spreading the wonderful gift of crypto and banter with everyone who will listen to me. Much love to you all. Guys, we do love the fan mail. Send us the fan mail. Another fan mail for us. Ran, just wanted to reach out to you and say thanks for all that you, Sheldon and Fred, are doing for me. Crypto banter gives me hope where there is little to none. You provide and share unselfishly the knowledge that brings food to our table and makes my dreams reachable for the very first time in my life. Deepest respect and gratitude. I truly look forward to joining your sniper school as soon as it's available. Keep up the good work. It makes the world a better place. Cheers, Yanez. Yanez, you are in for sniper school on Monday. So welcome to it. We will see you at sniper school on Monday. So guys, before we get into the big show, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, join this channel, subscribe. YouTube is banning a lot of crypto content. We're watching it in the crypto content numbers. It's never, ever been this bad. It's kind of like they let us run in the bull market, but now as soon as the market is down, they are blocking crypto content. I mean, imagine that shit. Imagine that shit. Like, block crypto content in 2021. The only way to fix it is if you guys smash the like button and tell YouTube that you like the content. So let's look at the likes, the content in 2021. The only way to fix wow, 1,600 likes with 5,000 of you watching. Guys, smash that like. Break it. Break the algorithm. Remember, tomorrow Sheldon and I are doing the big altcoin shopping story. Remember that spreadsheet that we made for you guys? That's tomorrow's game. We are just filling in the staking rewards. And then tomorrow we're going to give you a full guide to what you should be buying, whether it will survive a bear market, whether the fundamentals are good, whether you can stake it, how much money you can earn if you stake it. And then we'll decide exactly what you should be buying. Anyway, let's get into the big show today. Guys, if you haven't liked the video already, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Let's get into the show.
Crypto Benta for you. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. Crypto Benta for you. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. Crypto Benta for you. Smash that like.
Yeah. Smash that like. Anyway, I told you guys it's going to be an absolutely bullish show today. I did try and find bearish news today so that I could balance it and so that I could explain to you why the market is down. But we've heard all the bearish news. Like, I can't find any bearish news that you guys haven't heard. You've heard of China, you've heard of ESG, you've heard of FUD. There's nothing new on the bearish front. Let's talk about the bullish front. So I also can't get this bloody song out of my head. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just destroy your day even further by
Crypto Benta for you. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. Crypto Benta for you. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. This is Crypto Benta. Crypto Benta for you. Smash that like.
I'm going to destroy your day because you're going to be singing that all day long. So let's go. Let's talk about the bullish stuff. So Andreessen Horowitz raising the biggest crypto fund in the world, and in fact, the biggest fund that they've ever launched, the largest crypto fund ever, A16Z. It's run by the same people who are running their current crypto portfolio, which is led by Chris Dixon and Katie Hahn. Now, these guys have got an amazing view on crypto. What they say is that they have never been more bullish on an asset class than they are in crypto. And so they are ready to raise their biggest fund ever on crypto. They also have a great track record in terms of what they invest in. And this is quite interesting. If you look at the stuff that they have invested in, obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, Definity, Oasis Labs. They were one of the original investors in Coinbase. They were original investors in Ripple, believe it or not. They were investors in Uniswap, Compound, MakerDAO. They were investors in a token that we love, and that is Arweave. So you can see that this is an incredibly bullish sign for the market. And I said to you, today is going to be an amazingly bullish show, because not only is Burb coming on to tell us about how the Wyckoff distribution may play out, but there's just good news everywhere. And this is the first bit of good news. Andreessen Horowitz, the biggest, the most reputable fund managers in the world, in VC, are raising a $2.2 billion fund. $2.2 billion fund. Where are they going to invest that fund? Okay, they're probably not going to buy more Bitcoin or Ethereum, but they're going to buy equity or tokens in projects that are building on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on Cardano, on Solana, building new crypto. That means $2.2 billion to build the crypto ecosystem that you and I are supporting. And we're getting in before these big fund managers are putting in the $2.2 billion. So super bullish. Let's look at some more ridiculously, stupidly bullish news, like madly bullish news. Remember I said to you yesterday that Bitcoin just gets stronger and stronger. And the reason why Bitcoin gets stronger and stronger is because more and more people are invested in the network. Initially, it was just the tech geeks. Then retail got in. Early retail got in. Then the funds got in. Then companies got in. Treasuries. Then banks started to get in. And now you've got a whole battle. You've got a whole bunch of people coming into crypto, into Bitcoin, and incentivized to make sure that Bitcoin works. Now, in 2017, you could never imagine a company going out and saying, I'm putting Bitcoin on my balance sheet, right? It was just absurd to think about it. A traditional fund getting into crypto was also absurd in 2017. You had to have only the smallest crypto funds, these small Block Tower Capital, which had just launched, and small crypto funds. The Mavericks were getting into crypto. But the world is changing, guys. And the world is changing so much that over the last 24 hours, we've seen states and countries reiterate how they are fighting to bring Bitcoin and crypto into their jurisdictions. There is a battle between countries, states, jurisdictions to bring crypto people into their jurisdictions. Believe it or not. We went from tech geeks to investors, early investors, to retail investors, to maverick fund managers jumping and leaving Wall Street, to companies like MicroStrategy and Square, to now states. The mayor of Miami, have you seen what the mayor of Miami has done? He has migrated Silicon Valley to Miami. Everyone that I know has moved into Miami, and Miami right here is becoming a blockchain hub. What about New York? New York is one of the worst crypto jurisdictions in the world. One of the worst crypto jurisdictions in the entire world. They created this thing called the BIT license, which means that any crypto company that wants to operate there has to get a BIT license. And if you want to get a BIT license, boy, oh boy, they take a DNA sample. They take, I don't know what else they take. I think they even do a prostate exam if you want to get a BIT license, even worse than that. And now, as part of his mayoral race, the front runner for the New York mayoral race says, get this, his name is Eric Adams, and he probably will win the mayoral election. He says, I'm going to promise you, in 1 year, you're going to see a different city, said Adams. We're going to become the center of life sciences, the center of cybersecurity, the center of self-driving cars, drones, and the center of Bitcoin. So now New York is entering the race to get Bitcoin people, crypto people into New York. And they're not the only ones. Yesterday, listen to this, this is a senator talking about Bitcoin.
From Wyoming. Senator, welcome to the program. First question, Bitcoin. You are a senator who owns Bitcoin. I think you're the only one who owns Bitcoin, the only one that I know of. How do you feel about Bitcoin's decline today? It's at 29.8.
I'm really excited about it because as soon as it drops a little more, I'm going to buy some more. You know, I'll tell you, Stuart, my favorite stock that I own is a company called United Rentals. And I bought it, and it dropped like a rock. I held on to it, and my gosh, it has performed beautifully over the years for me. And I see Bitcoin doing the same kind of thing because the fundamentals are good.
Do you want any kind of regulation for Bitcoin?
I do. I want to have a level playing field so digital assets, cryptocurrencies, understand what the rules of the road are. They're very simple rules, easy to understand, and they're not overly restrictive because we want to see increased innovation in this space.
So that was a senator from Wyoming who's basically telling people, if you read between the lines, she's saying, buy the dip. She's saying, Bitcoin's coming down, I'm buying more, telling people to basically buy the dip. This shows you how much times have changed and that Bitcoin has got such network effect that, okay, this is a time to be buying the dip. Also yesterday, in an interview with Peter McCormack, listen to what the El Salvador president, a president of a sovereign nation, listen to his views on Bitcoin. I was shocked about this. And if you didn't watch our documentary, watch our documentary on El Salvador.
So when you look at everything that has happened since the beginning of Bitcoin till now, you can predict what's going to happen in the future, and it's going to be a lot bigger than it is right now, which is quite big actually. But it's going to be even bigger than what it's now. So I think a lot of not only countries but people are switching themselves to Bitcoin. And then you have all of the problems with the current monetary systems. And it's the Bitcoin system is so perfect that I think it's going to be the future. And it is the present already in a lot of things, but it's going to be big, way bigger in the future.
That's president of a country talking about Bitcoin. And he was asked about the risks of Bitcoin. Like, surely there must be huge risks of adopting Bitcoin. And his answer was so good that every single sovereign nation out there, every single developing country out there should take note of exactly what he said. Listen to this.
What could be the risks? I mean, yeah, you could get some people angry or mad at us. They haven't been so good to us anyway. I mean, let's see how things are here. 70% of people, they don't even have a bank account. So some banks may be upset, yeah, but they are not taking care of 70% of our people. I mean, it's not like we're doing good in the old system, so why not try a new system that it looks good to me. I mean, for me, it looks bulletproof. I'm pretty sure this is going to work, not only for us, but for humanity, because it's a leap forward for humanity. And if we can be part of it, and an important part of it, our small country, we're the smallest country in the continent. And if we can be at the forefront of an economic revolution, why not try that? And what are we risking? I mean, yeah, there's probably some small risks, but I really don't see them as big risk. Only probably getting some people angry at us, but they haven't been so nice to us anyway. So, you know, why not try something new that it's handled by anybody, instead of being in the hands of somebody that could decide your monetary future from one day to another without consulting you or anything, or without caring what's going to happen to you or your people. Why not the system that it's open and free? It sounds a lot more appealing to me than the old system.
I mean, that's a huge fuck you to the US government, where he says, hey, you guys haven't helped us. Hey, banks, you haven't helped us. 70% of our people are unbanked. I've got nothing to lose. How many other nations out there are in the same boat, where they have nothing to lose. And if they're really serious about fixing their country, if they're not about corruption and being able to take out of their country, then I think a lot of other nations are watching this. And you can see already that the South American leaders are behind it. The new mayor-elect of New York, or at least one that we think is going to win the New York race, is now inviting Bitcoin and blockchain, saying he's going to make New York a center for Bitcoin and blockchain. The mayor of Miami is saying the same thing. It's a matter of time before this virus spreads. And, well, I don't know if you're allowed to say the virus spreads anymore after COVID, but it's a matter of time before this thing spreads. So, guys, I can't tell you why the market is not responding. All I can tell you is that, to me, I looked for the bad news because I wanted to bring you a balanced view. There's no bad news out there. There is no more bad news out there. I'm looking. I looked. You all know about China FUD. You all know about ESG FUD. You all know about everything else, ransomware FUD. There is nothing else happening that's bad news. But the good news is building up. And there's also good news on the altcoin scene. So let's quickly go through it. Let's go through the altcoins. We've looked at Bitcoin. Let's look at the altcoins. Ethereum. The EIP 1559 protocol, and that is the protocol that effectively makes Ethereum deflationary. So with every transaction fee that you have with Ethereum, it's going to burn some Ethereum, which is effectively going to make Ethereum deflationary. Now, if you take a deflationary gas, which is used to power the network, if you take the gas and you make it deflationary, and then you think about the rate of growth of Ethereum, and you say, Ethereum's growing very fast, but with every transaction, we're going to burn some of the gas. What happens? Ethereum, when this gets implemented and people actually start seeing Ethereum burn and become deflationary, I think people are going to realize how valuable an Ethereum actually is. And that's huge, huge, huge news. The other bit of good news, or the other bit of altcoin news, which you guys need to pay attention to, is on KUSAMA. And I keep saying this to you guys about KUSAMA. KUSAMA has now done its first parachain auction. So for those of you that haven't been watching Crypto Banter, we're big KUSAMA fans because it's almost like a proof of concept for what's going to happen on Polkadot. What KUSAMA is effectively is a bridge between multiple specialized blockchains. Now, to become one of the parachains on KUSAMA, you have to stake KUSAMA. Where do you get the KUSAMA from? Well, you get it from supporters of your project. So the first parachain auction has been won, and it's been won by Karura, which is a DeFi protocol. Now, we all know that. The most important thing here is to realize that 15,000 network stakeholders loaned Karura over 500,000 KUSAMA tokens. And those tokens are now going to be locked up for 48 weeks while this is a parachain on KUSAMA. So for 48 weeks, 500,000 KUSAMA tokens are now locked, cannot be touched with the first parachain. Now, there are only 10 million KUSAMA tokens in circulation, or there are 9 million KUSAMA tokens in circulation, of which 500,000 are now locked up in the first parachain. And they're going to continue these parachain auctions and continue these parachain auctions and continue these parachain auctions. And that's why, for me, the tokenomics of KUSAMA make absolute sense. And I want to show you this because it's so simple for you guys to work this out and to see that this is one of the things that you should be buying on the dip. I've bought this one on the dip. It's trading at $200. If you look at the total number, the total supply of KUSAMA ever, 10 million KUSAMA tokens, of which 9 million are in circulation, of which 500,000 have been locked up in the parachain, in the first parachain auction. There are going to be multiple parachain auctions. If each one just locks up 250,000 tokens. And remember, it's going to become more and more and more and more competitive to get a parachain slot on KUSAMA. The first one, there's still a whole lot to go, but as you get closer and closer and closer to the limit of the number of parachains, then they're going to fight harder and harder to get them. And the stakes are going to become higher. And more KUSAMA are going to be locked up. So eventually, it could be that 80 or 90% of all the KUSAMA in circulation are going to be locked up in these parachain auctions. And that's going to make KUSAMA super, super, super scarce. So to me, when I saw the prices going down, and even now, $208, I'm buying KUSAMA. I'm buying KUSAMA. Another altcoin, which I'm buying, is one that's one of the favorites on our station. You know that Charles Hoskinson is a good friend of Crypto Banter. Well, we have been super bullish on Cardano, and we've been talking about Cardano a lot. And we always said that Cardano is not really in the race until smart contracts launch. Because until the time that smart contracts launch, Cardano is not, there's no dApps being built in it. It's just not in the race. There's no real ecosystem. I mean, there is an ecosystem, but it can't explode because you need smart contracts for all of the complicated applications, or the applications that use the network, right? And so everybody in the ecosystem has been talking about when smart contracts, when smart contracts, when smart contracts. And I really want to know when smart contracts. I heard it's early August, but we're going to find out today. But more importantly for me is actually not smart contracts, but what happens after smart contracts. Because what you haven't heard is what happens after smart contracts. You've all heard about when smart contracts, when smart contracts, when smart contracts. What happens after smart contracts? What can we expect from Cardano? And for that, I have the CTO of IOHK. His name is Romain Pellerin. Romain, welcome, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, my friend?
Good. Good.
So the big question that everybody is asking, it's like the big question. And I know that everybody keeps asking you guys the same thing. And it's almost like the big retail question. When Cardano smart contracts? Let's get that out the way. Let's get the when Cardano smart contracts out the way so we can have a much more meaningful discussion around Cardano, the ecosystem, and what happens afterwards.
Yes. So when this summer, and that's the answer. If you follow closely what we have been doing on the smart contract aspect, we are running a series of testnet currently, and Alonso Blue testnet is already happening with 50 partners and SPOs actually trying out the smart contracts on Plutus, the Plutus language itself. And we already have a node that is integrated in Plutus. You know, it's important to do things right. So we are going through a process of successive testnet, introducing more tools and more components of the system, because Plutus is just the interpreter, right? Some sort of VM in the node, but you need to build and adapt the wallets. You need to adapt the APIs, the GraphQL APIs. You need to build the application backend to simplify the development on top of Plutus. And all of this needs to be tested, developed properly, and have feedback from our users. So through the testnet, so we have Alonso Blue, there will be Alonso White soon. We enlarge the community also. We are bringing more people on board.
Okay, so by the end of the summer, the Cardano mainnet supports smart contracts on Cardano. What do you expect to happen when that happens? When developers can now start building on the mainnet with smart contracts, what happens next?
So developers are already building on it because we are running the Plutus Pioneer program with 2,000 developers actively learning how to develop in Plutus and how to develop with the Plutus application backend. Lars is conducting a series of courses. It's on YouTube. It's free. If you want to learn about Plutus and be ready for the mainnet, you can start today. So what will happen after? After there will be contracts deployed to the network, and people will understand that that Plutus is very solid foundation. It's very different than developing Solidity. Why? Because Cardano is a UTXO blockchain, so the language is a bit different and needs some sort of learning.
And so, I mean, converting developers to learn a new language. I mean, to the layperson, it sounds like it's very complicated. I mean, I know that for me to learn to speak a new language can take me years. How does it work with, if there's a Solidity developer and he wants to convert to Plutus, what's the process? I mean, is it a 1 month process? Is it a 3 month process? Is it difficult to learn?
It's there's no time. It's difficult to project this because it depends on your smart contract in Solidity. Is it complicated? Is it a big contract? What's the level of complexity of your contract? Learning a new language is always, there's a learning curve, but it's completely feasible in a matter of, a month, 2 months. It depends on your contract. Or current feedback from the community is that they are able to develop their use case in Plutus without much difficulties. After, we have some programs that we announced in the past with the ERC20 converter, how to convert your ERC20 from Ethereum to Cardano, and we have that program also.
Is that a bridge? Is that program effectively a bridge where you send your ETH contract into a bridge and it gets suspended in the bridge and gets replaced by a corresponding Cardano equivalent?
Yeah, you're right. That's definitely a bridge between Ethereum and Cardano, and it will be at a certain point a two-way bridge. That's important. We don't see the industry with only one blockchain ruling them all. We are working in a collaborative manner with different blockchain ecosystems to build bridges across ecosystems. So the users can actually transfer value, go to use certain features of certain blockchain, and come back to their ecosystem if they want to. So building bridges is definitely something that we started, including with Nervos blockchain. We also are working with Ergo, and we'll continue to do so. Collaboration is needed in our industry if we want to convince the world. I saw your video about the governments adopting crypto. If we want to help governments to be onboarded, they should have a simplified offering, right? Not feel that they have to take a critical decision of which blockchain they should integrate, right? No, you can start here and you can go there, and you have a unified ecosystem. We need to convince the world. Yeah.
Do you see the world in 5 years' time as a world with multiple blockchains, with seamless bridges between blockchains, executing things? And the reason I ask is, there seems to be some kind of competition, if you want to call it. I don't really believe it's a competition, but you often hear the term Ethereum killers, and you often hear, will Cardano kill Ethereum or disrupt Ethereum? I see the world slightly different. I'm interested to see what your view is. Do you see a world with multiple superhighways, which are blockchains, with bridges against them?
Definitely. If you can see already a verticalization of the use of specific blockchains. Some blockchains are dedicated to supply chain, some others to healthcare, some others, etc. So I believe there will be, like the internet, an interconnection basically of networks. If you look at what happened to the internet in the past, there were intranets and then extranets, which were bridging intranets, and then the internet bridged the extranets. And I would say that extranets are the main public blockchains today, and in the future, there will be bridges and highways, like you said, between those networks to create the internet of trust. For me, blockchain is the internet of trust. It's a platform of trust.
So interested to know, you're working on Cardano, but who do you think will be the top 5 extranets, so to speak, or the top 5 highways? Because you look at it from a technical point of view. You don't care about price. You don't care about noise. You look at the technicals of the chains, and I'm sure you understand the technicals behind each chain. Who do you think that the chains that will be successful alongside Cardano will be?
I think we'll see complementary blockchains that have different principles, different technologies, different objectives. For example, Cardano is here to stay. Everything that we have been doing for the past 5 years is for the long term, right? The fact that we are launching smart contract only now is because we carefully designed our protocols. We verified our protocols. We went from the fundamental research, formally verified the protocols themselves, and then going to the implementation and releasing things carefully, right? Because we are building things for the long term. So Cardano will be definitely here. Bitcoin will be here, that's for sure, and I believe Ethereum will be here also. And then we'll see newcomers also. This is a very dynamic industry where very effervescent industry where new ideas are benchmarked. Like the work around the zero knowledge proof is amazing, and we'll see new sort of consensus algorithm.
And what about the current blockchains? What about Polkadot? What about Solana? What about Ethereum? What about all the current ones? I mean, do you look at those and go, wow, these are great, they're going to be here, Cardano is going to live alongside these ones?
I like when ecosystems look at a particular problem. For Polkadot and Cosmos, they are looking at interoperability and how you can have that mix of, you know, a main hub and some parachains or some private chains, and how you interconnect those with other public networks through bridges. Every time an ecosystem look at a particular problem and address a particular need in the market, there will be adoption. After, I'm not an oracle, I don't know who will win at the end. Yeah. Is there really an end, right? It's going to evolve over time.
Yeah. Okay, so you are the CTO of IOHK. IOHK is the company that is developing Cardano, but Cardano is decentralized. Right now, as it stands, IOHK is the main development company in Cardano, and I know you guys have a roadmap to kind of almost like, I don't want to use the word step away, but to become not such an important part of the ecosystem. What happens to Cardano after smart contracts? What's on the roadmap for Cardano after smart contracts? Because nobody's talking about anything after smart contracts. So let's look at what happens after.
Actually, the plan is highlighted, and what's coming after Gauguin, it's the smart contract era. It's Voltaire and Basho. So we are already in the Voltaire era through Catalyst, which is our decentralized funding treasury, right? Where thousands of people currently are contributing to generate ideas and actually funding new projects. So IO is not alone anymore for a while already. We have several projects that have been funded over the past year and actively developing some tools and some apps, some community initiatives.
I just want to make sure that the viewers understand this and that I understand it correctly. There is a massive treasury in Cardano to fund ecosystem development. So what you're saying is that the next initiative is to decentralize that further and to say that the stakeholders can actually vote on how the funding is distributed, as opposed to a foundation or a single company how the money is going to get spent. So true decentralization of the governance of the spending of the tokens.
Exactly, it's already happening. People are funded from the treasury of Cardano. Currently, we are in Fund 5 now, and that initiative is going to grow over time. It's very interesting for anyone who has an idea, who wants to bootstrap a project. Like I invite you to go to Catalyst program, and that's what we call Voltaire. After we have also scalability improvements through state channels. So Hydra was announced a bit earlier this month in the previous Cardano 360 show. There's one today actually, if the viewers wants to go see our show today and learn more about everything we are doing. So Hydra is the state channel technology where if we want to transact at high speed, you and I, we can create a state channel, transact at thousands of transactions per second if we want, and come back and settle on chain. So those technologies are great for bridging enterprise together and yes.
I'm saying it's madness that no one's talking about this, that everyone's so obsessed with smart contracts, but actually this is much more exciting. This is like the next phase, which is like it baffles my mind that people are so obsessed with smart contracts. Charles, let's talk about Charles. Charles has been the public figure of Cardano for a long time. Is that the plan forever? I mean, at what point does the chain become less about Charles? Charles has done a great job. We love Charles, but wondering if in a decentralized world, at what point Charles takes a step back and says, this chain actually belongs to everyone?
That's a question for Charles himself, I guess, right? What I can say is Charles is a visionary, and a visionary stays a visionary. I don't believe Charles is in command of everything. The community already took control of the network, control of the Catalyst program, and the community is already in charge in some ways. It's already happening. If you want to ask those questions to Charles, he will give you his own opinion about.
When you look at the Cardano, you know the roadmap. When you look at Cardano right now, what's the thing that you're most excited about? Like, you must wake up every morning and think, I'm here for a reason. What is the thing that you're most excited about right now in the Cardano ecosystem?
Definitely delivering the years of active research that we've done in the past, and also contributing to the current efforts. We have a very great research division, which is not a division actually. It's 12 universities across the world, 12 research labs. In Scotland, in the US, in Tokyo, it's very, very active, and it's amazing to be part of this. We can address new concepts like Agelos created the Babel fees. How can you, with your native token, which today you can actually release your token on Cardano since February, and we have NFTs, etc., etc. Agelos proposed to pay the fees, transaction fees, through your native token. So you'll not need ADA to transact for your native token. So that's an amazing idea. We have new projects to create a lightweight, wallet that bootstrap faster. And I'm really enthusiastic in collaborating with others, like the different partnerships we announced with Nervos, for example, and Ergo and Orion, etc., to build those bridges and look at how we can solve hard problems, because we are solving hard problems in this industry.
Amazing. Romain, listen, it's been unbelievable. And to be honest, I think me and you need like a half an hour together. Like, I really think that me and you need to get half an hour together. And I could carry on this discussion forever, but I have to let it go for now. So thank you, my friend, for coming on. It's been amazing to hear it from the CTO, the guy in the tech reads of Cardano. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Ryan. Pleasure to be here with you. Yeah,
we're big Cardano fans. We're big Cardano fans.
Thanks.
We're super bullish. I mean, again, I'm looking for bearish news. There's no bearish news. What do you want me to do? Must I make up bearish news? I can't make up China FUD. It's all bullish. It's all bullish. Speaking of bullish, you know what else is bullish? Verb is bullish. I woke up this morning, okay? I woke up this morning, 5:30, starting to look for stuff. First thing I did, I texted Verb. I'm like, Verb, is there any reason in the world to be bullish right now? Verb, what did you say?
I said yes.
Why bullish? The prices are going down. The 200-day moving average is broken. Everything's broken. I feel like the whole world is broken. Why are we bullish? I'm looking for bearish news so that I can justify to all my friends why the market is going down. But people say to me, why are the markets going down? I'm like, because Andreessen just launched the biggest fund in the world, because Bitcoin successfully moved out of China without crashing the network. Where's the bullish news in the charts? Help me, Burb, help me.
Yeah, before I actually just step in the charts, I want to talk about some qualitative ways on how to know if things are more bullish than you could expect. And to start with, it always comes with the crowd sentiment, okay? And I'm not really like, let's say, like a bull tart or something. When it's a bear market, I tell you it's a bear market, okay? I was I got all the, well, fame back in early in the days. I became popular because I was actually the person who predicted the bear market bottom of $3,000-4,000 when nobody believed it 11 months in advance in January, February 2018. Okay, so that's how when people actually started believing me to some major extent. And I can be wrong about, you know, short-term directions. I can be wrong about what Bitcoin is going to do in the next 5 minutes, what it's going to do in the next hour, 5 days, a week, or something like that. Mainly because I cannot predict the insiders, right? There is, what makes money in the trading is the information asymmetry. There is always somebody who knows more than you do, right? There's always this Elon Musk knowing that he's going to post a bullish hashtag for Bitcoin, for example, before he does, but it's only him, right? So speaking actually of the crowd sentiment, crowds tend to be right in the middle of trends, but they are always wrong at the extremes. Okay, so whenever you see some extreme price action going on, extremely deviated against some average price movements, be it to the upside or to the downside, that's where the crowds is usually wrong. And it always comes with the perception biases, right? That's how our psychology kind of like, you know, just explains, the behavioral finance explains that we tend to, again, just get extremely complacent on the tops and on the bottoms, right? Extremely complacent that you know, there is no stopping, that there is no topping ever, that it's going to continue growing like that forever, which is when it peaks, when this euphoria peaks, this is where the market peaks, okay? And the other way around, whenever the extremes, okay, are brought by the crowds again to the downside, that, you know, they say, I recently saw $1,000 targets, you know, for Bitcoin. Like the crowds are always wrong about the extremes, because that's how that markets work, okay? So when I hear and read, you know, all day long, 24/7, that some random people who joined, you know, a month ago or 2 months ago, they tell me all the time, all day long, that, you know, that I'm wrong for posting anything bullish, that they're literally, I posted a bullish chart and there was a comment from some random person, you know, saying unfollowed, right? So it hurts people. Yeah. It hurts people to see anything bullish, mainly because they kind of like already had to decide and kind of like agreed that you know, that they lost some money. But if we are to actually bring the charts to the game, let me very quickly display that. Okay, we briefly may briefly talk upon you know, the Wyckoff distribution or the Wyckoff accumulation and other Wyckoff patterns is what we can discuss in a brief second. But I want to tell you guys something, that even if you know, turn off all the indicators, but here of course it's a BIBIT Pro, which is my personal trading system. But even if you turn it off right now, you can tell that there is a situation when you have some range, this ugly range. It's one of the most painful ranges, not because it's bearish, but because it's neutral. The ranges, by definition, just like any other chart patterns, are neutral. They are not a bullish, no bearish. These are just neutral, okay? And only what context kind of like, you know, what their bullishness or bearishness as its outcome, you know, comes up, breakout, you know, breakdown. It comes depending on the actual context. So the context here is that Bitcoin recently crashed and dropped, you know, 55% top to the bottom drawdown. Okay, that is usually overly extended major volatility for Bitcoin from the high time frame point of view. Okay, and what I can see is in the charts here that this inside this neutral range after major downside. Okay, which usually again just brings more of accumulation, because, you know, despite the crowd's extremes, believes that the bear market is on, that the bull market is over. You know, Bitcoin is currently undervalued. It's currently underpriced. Even if it's short term, it's still underpriced. Okay, you can tell.
You know, how do you know? Everyone, I mean,
right? Yeah, for sure.
Overpriced.
Yeah. So first of all, the natural volatility, regular volatility for Bitcoin is that you would have about 15% retracements in a regular environment for short-term corrections. Major term corrections, which are mainly like medium-term, that last approximately about three months. Okay. They come with usually 30% retracement or 40% retracement. That is already a lot. Okay, nominally, because the Bitcoin was going up, you know, nominally the same percentage meant some bigger values, right? So 10% upside pump, let's say at 10K was $1,000, but at 60K was $6,000, for example, right? So here we are having a look at this pattern, which is neutral in its own bullishness or bearishness. But what defines this kind of like this tiny bullish element that I can see that bears a very big potential for an upside reversal is this fake out on the bottom. So because these are neutral and because there has been an extremely fearful sentiment, okay, no matter how you look at it, people are extremely salty. They get offended when you post anything bullish. They cannot follow you, you know, like if it changed your life somehow.
They don't like yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? So this bullish thing that I could tell, like this bullish, how to call it, like a peanut, you know, like this bullish spark that can evolve into something way bigger, again, some major upside reversal, is this fake out on the bottom, just like it says in here, okay? So we can tell that there was a situation where there was a support established with the, the crash that happened, the crash there towards the $30,000 low, but then you had the low swept, and this is the basics of the liquidity hunts. Okay, so you want the support to be broken at one point, and even as it is undervalued, and you know that it is undervalued. You know, Bitcoin didn't become irrelevant overnight. It's not that Bitcoin suddenly the entire crypto stopped counting. You know, it's not that this entire network crashed and it's all trash overnight. It's just people who underpriced it for a moment, okay? And there is a statistical nature in that, because whatever goes down, you know, and deviates heavily against the average, it's supposed to go up, right? At one point to go equal with the average. This is what we call the mean reversion. The mean, you know, where there is some let's say some statistical data, you know, like the price action oscillates, and you have some mean, right? And at one point, when it goes down, okay, the nature of the markets have that people can understand that an asset is undervalued, is below its average price, so hence it's underpriced, okay, which is what makes them buy that, which makes it a self-fulfilling prophecy, kind of like to pump it over, right? And that's how you actually just go up and down in the cycles. The underpriced and overpriced states of for any asset oscillating around the average is what actually just moves the markets. But here, I'm talking about this, SFP, the swing failure pattern, this hammer candle, okay, this bear trap, no matter how we call that. This is definitely showing this tiny wick, okay? If we even get closer to that. This tiny wick on the bottom is a very significant wick, in my opinion, because it tells you that anybody who sold, okay, below the broken support is actually trapped right now. So we're talking about those who sold early, sold late, and those who shorted late. Okay, so there is of course a difference between selling spot and selling short. Okay, for the futures. So if you are short on futures, especially in leverage, which is what happens to so many inexperienced traders who became experts overnight. I just joined a month ago. Okay, they would short it because they read in a book that support's broken mean it's bearish. Okay, but they never realized the context, and the context is that the Bitcoin has already declined way more than average volatility would suggest. Okay, so we have a fake out on the bottom, the fake breakdown, which served so far nothing but a liquidity purpose. Okay, you could tell that even if you go down to lower time frames, there with what followed this kind of like a breakdown. Okay. What was following the actual breakdown was massive buying popping in. Okay, this entire range between 28.8 and $34,000. This is all massive buying so far. Okay, some local pattern, let's say bull flag or whatever. Again, I would not count too much on patterns resolving inside the range, because the range itself is neutral. That's where many chart patterns fail. Okay, if you see some, again, head and shoulders here or whatever, I wouldn't count too much for that, okay, because it's still part of this range between the low extreme and high extreme, which defines its neutrality. Okay, so it's not really credible or reliable. But this tiny peanut candle on the bottom bears so much upside reversal potential. Okay, because that's how most of the main reversals happen.
Let's call it the peanut of hope. Berb, we are running out of time. I want to chat to you for 1 minute about the main thing to talk about, which is Wyckoff. Because you initially said in the beginning that this was a beginning of a Wyckoff pattern. Do you still think it's a Wyckoff? And if it is, where are we on the Wyckoff?
Yeah, if I were to bring you the Wyckoff chart, I would say we are somewhere over here, where this was this peanut of hope, if you will. We are somewhere over here, right? While you can never literally apply the chart patterns literally, this is providing you just a major concept, the mechanism for how it works. I would not focus on pursuing each and every single phase exactly and accurately, but instead I would have in mind that Wyckoff as a very big proponent for the technical analysis and the legendary kind of trader way before TA was actually popular and widely used. He was able to notice that there are many professional breakdowns. Okay, there are many breakdowns coming from some market manipulators. From those who are actually just there to manipulate the markets, which is also a fact and real. And the moment you see this liquidity breakdowns on the bottom and fake breakdowns, okay, with the supports being held right after the fast recovery, this tells you that usually fake or failed patterns, failed breakdowns are usually way more profitable than the regular breakouts, for example. That is quite a rule. And Wyckoff was very good at noticing that at accumulation phase, understanding the overall sideways nature of the markets. And this, if you ask me, is the peanut of hope, which is way more bullish than bearish, at least at the context.
Good. Wow. We should have done this in the beginning of the show. We should have taken the whole show for this. We'll do that again next week.
Happy for that.
Congratulations. I know you got married. I know you got married.
I did. I really did.
Wow, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Burb is off the market now. So officially Burb is off the market.
Oh, geez.
Man. Thank you. Fuck, you've made my day. I'm going to go lie. I'm not going to lie on the beach because it's raining outside, but I'm going to go.
Thank you so much, Ren.
Burb says that it's amazing. Guys, follow Burb on Twitter. Best Twitter account in the entire crypto universe. I'll post it in the comments later. Follow Burb on Twitter. Best crypto account in the fucking universe. Follow Burb on Twitter. Burb, my brother, much love.
Likewise. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Fuck, I love that guy. I mean, made my day. Look, we are out of time, but I do want to talk to you about one thing. John McAfee. I think we need to give the man the respect he deserves. Because love him or hate him, John McAfee is one of the biggest proponents of this industry. He's one of the biggest icons of this industry. He's one of the biggest believers in this industry. So much so that at one point he even offered to eat his own penis on live television. He didn't do that though when it actually happened. I actually spoke to him. I spent a lot of time with John McAfee. I met him on my CNBC days and I interviewed him. In fact, here's one of the inserts.
$1 million by 2020. Well, at least $1 million by 2020, or he'll eat his own genitals. That's what John McAfee said. John, why $1 million? Why not 1.5 or 2?
Well, I'm a very conservative person, and I seldom lose bets. I chose a very conservative number, one which is absolutely impossible for me to lose, because I think the true value will be many times that. And how did I reach the value? The way I do most things, backwards. Instead of taking what happened and project it forward, the nice thing about Bitcoin is it has a finite end. When the last coin is going to be mined, or even 10 years from now where there are very few coins left. So I'm thinking, okay, so there's 10 coins left or whatever, and we have 100,000 miners, and we're spending $1 billion a month trying to mine this coin, which might take us half a year. What's the value of that coin? It's got to be in the trillions of dollars. So if it is, because we know it's going to be mined, and it's going to have some value, and if we're spending billions to get it, it has to be worth many times more. So let's say it's $1 trillion, a very conservative number, and let's work backwards. Then $10 million in 2020 is about the right price.
So it could be anywhere. I mean, from what you're saying, if it's equivalent to the investment in the miners in the network,
it has to be, else they wouldn't be mining, would they? See, this is a business. I was one of the world's largest miners. We're not going to mine something we're going to lose money on. Of course not. If we're mining it, it's going to be worth a fortune. And we're going to have to cooperate with each other, because I'm not spending $1 billion and everybody else to get my competitor, get the last coin. No, we're all going to cooperate and go, whoever gets it, we divide it equally. All right, so no, $10 million is more likely, but $1 million is safe.
So
you have to trust me, I will win that bet.
You're Irish, and you said that being Irish, you've never lost a bet. So.
I've never lost a bet. My wife's been with him for quite a while. She will tell you that I've done 1,000 bets. I've never lost a bet. But if you keep your wits about you, you will see that there's no possibility of enforcing any of these things. None. I mean, so how can you possibly enforce something that you can't see? Especially with the anonymous and the privacy coins. How in the world do you see? No one knows that I'm even using it. I'm going to break into my house and look at every application on my computer? No, please. It's not possible.
So the government's lost the fight already? Is it too late for them to stop?
They lost the fight as soon as Satoshi wrote his paper. That was the end of the war. Because the mathematics, I'm a mathematician, the math in that paper is kind of like when Newton discovered the laws.
That was John McAfee during one of our interviews. And that night, many other nights, I spent crazy nights with John McAfee. For those of you who don't know, you probably know John McAfee or the name McAfee from McAfee Antivirus, which was the company that McAfee actually founded. He was a genius. John McAfee was a mathematical genius. He was a disturbed genius, but he was a genius. He sold his company. If I remember correctly, he sold his company for about $100 million. And then in 2007, the markets crashed, and I think he lost $100 million, or at least that's the story I remember him telling me. And he was so upset because he stayed on and he ran the company. And eventually that company got sold for billions of dollars, I think $6 or $7 billion to Intel. And that was, I remember him saying that it was the happiest day of his life that he got out of there. And then he did many things, including running a plant for natural herbal medicines in Belize, which was raided by the Belize cops, who eventually then arrested him. And he got out, and he got out uncharged from this whole ordeal. And in 2017, John McAfee was one of the icons of crypto. He was an early believer in Bitcoin, as you heard. And then he started to shill altcoins. And John McAfee believed in never ever paying taxes. John McAfee was one of the people in the world who believed that there shouldn't be taxes. And so what he did was he never paid his taxes. He just didn't file tax returns. Anyway, on the 20th of October in 2020, John McAfee gets arrested in Spain, in a prison, and he gets imprisoned in Spain. And sorry, that was in October, but he also says, I'm content in here. I have friends. The food is good. All is well. Know that if I hang myself, a la Epstein, it will be no fault of mine. So already then he started talking about being taken down by the US government. And he claimed that he had a whole lot on the US government, which if he was ever arrested, he would actually release this. He followed that up, and he said things like, he tweeted this, and this was in 2019. He said, he's getting subtle messages from the US government saying, in effect, we're coming for you, McAfee. We're going to kill yourself. And he said, just in case I do get whacked, just know that I was whacked. And there are a lot of conspiracy theories about John McAfee. You can see that there's lots of tweets going around about it. And one of them says, holy shit, the code in the Q picture was actually a hexadecimal representation of the private key of an Ethereum wallet, and so on and so forth. The long story short is that if you look at the charges against McAfee, McAfee was arrested for tax evasion. But then a day after, or recently after he was arrested, the Manhattan Attorney General said, as alleged, McAfee and Watson used social media to perpetuate an age-old pump and dump scheme that earned them nearly $2 million. Additionally, they alleged used the same social media platform to promote the sale of digital tokens on behalf of ICO issues without disclosing them to investors. The compensation they were receiving to tout these securities on behalf of the ICO. When engaging in illegal activity, simply finding new ways to carry out old tricks won't produce results. Investment fraud and money laundering schemes carry strict penalty under law, which I guess is fine. I mean, you don't want to be manipulating new investors, but he also tweeted this. He tweeted, let's just look at the date. The date here is March 7th, 2021, so a few months ago. It says, much of the new allegation from the feds are about my coin of the day. For a few days in 2017, I chose coins which I believed had value. One of them was Doge. Now being touted years later by Elon Musk, the coin has increased well over 1,000% since. I chose it, not a pump and dump. But I guess if you read between the lines here, what he's saying is that Elon Musk is engaging in exactly the same behavior. So Whereas McAfee was arrested on tax charges, the Department of Justice then issued a whole lot more, they indicted him on a whole lot more charges, again, in the Manhattan court. And recently they won an extradition appeal to get him extradited from Spain to the United States. And that is when apparently he committed suicide. I think that Jeremy Epstein and John McAfee probably both committed suicide. Let me know what you think in the comments. I was quite sad. I must say, I was quite sad to hear that McAfee was dead. I did. I spent a lot of time with him. We chatted a lot over Telegram. I interviewed him many, many times. I had some of the wildest nights of my life there. I guess the one thing I always remember him for is he said, I once saw a Rolls Royce parked outside and I said, wow, what a beautiful car. And he said, Rolls Royce is not a beautiful car. A Rolls Royce is a car that millionaires let their drivers drive. The real car is the Bentley. And he made the differentiation for me. And every time that I see a Bentley, I always think to myself, that's the car you drive when you're rich, and your driver drives the Rolls. Anyway, guys, it's been a great show. It's been fun. It's been super bullish. I looked for the bearish news. I wanted to give you bearish news, but there's no bearish news. There's no bearish news. Tomorrow, I'll do my best to bring the salty people bearish news. Tomorrow, guys, salty people log in. Tomorrow, I will bring you guys bearish news. And remember, also tomorrow, Sheldon and I are going long-term shopping. We're going to show you guys the famous spreadsheet and tell you guys what to buy, what prices to buy, and where to stake it. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. To all of you, have a beautiful day. To the salty people, don't have a beautiful day. Have another salty day. I will see you guys again tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, if you are trading, trade well, man.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.